welcome to Webb Weekly Live on the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor Day, Steph.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Yes, today's the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and we've got a good story in the paper this week. A couple of years ago, Lou did an interview with Joe Lockard, who was actually one of the radar techs who saw the first echoes of the planes coming into Pearl Harbor. Unfortunately, they kind of ignored him.
I was just going to say, what planes?
Yeah.
That was their response.
That was pretty much what their response was. So, but he's got an interview that he did with him a couple of years ago, along with a bio of Joe Lockard and everything that he accomplished in his career. So.
Outstanding, and on this 75th anniversary, let's give a special Webb Weekly salute to all our World War II veterans. Most of them have left us, especially those that might have been serving in Pearl Harbor. But more importantly, our nation endured one of the greatest attacks, if not the greatest attack. We have 9/11 now to talk about, but the greatest military attack on our nation was on that day, and our nation responded, and the greatest generation, as Tom Brokaw referred to them, got off the mat, recovered from Pearl Harbor, and fortunately for us, they fought and won our freedom and liberated a lot of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but yeah, so let's be sure to check out Lou's story on that. It's actually a really great story and a great little worldwide connection to Williamsport. So
excellent.
And also don't forget that we have we're still taking entrants for our Blaze Alexander Christmas coloring contest. You have until Monday to get your entries in, so be sure. You can't really see them right now, but we've got cute little elves running around behind us, and they're judging the contest and getting them all separated out for us.
Tell me about the coloring contest. One of my favorite events of the year.
Yeah, it's a great event, and we have prizes from Fly World and English Model Railroad, Treasure Castle Playland, Ellery Now, Hoopla's, Harder's, the movie theater, Dairy Queen, Gastonian, Faxton Bowling, so we got a little bit of everything for the kids to win. Contest is open 10 and under. We've got 3 age groups, 4 and under, 5 to 7, and 8 to 10. So be sure to get your entries in. Like I said, you have until Monday.
And folks, I love when the kids bring them in. The joy in the kids' eyes when they bring them in and present them to us is special. And the time and effort they put in.
Yeah. My desk is covered in glitter already. So
it is. And your elves are doing a good job?
They do. They do a fantastic job every year.
What are those elves costing me?
You really don't want to know what they're costing you. Also, they want vacation when they're done. So.
And if you don't know this, Santa's elves are union, which drives up the cost considerably. But I would not break down for some of those Mexican elves, would I? So... sorry about that.
All right. So anyway, we have a lot going on in the area this weekend.
Was that my Trump moment for the week?
That might have been.
That might have been.
Festival of Trees is on Friday night, the big auction. Please go out and support the cause.
Salvation Army, great event. We got our Webb Weekly tree.
Yeah, we have all sorts of money on this tree. We have over $700 worth of gift certificates to local restaurants from over 30 different restaurants. Big thank you to all of our advertisers who donated the cards.
And a fantastic, talk about it in my article a little bit this week, how the restaurants and eateries that advertise within our pages partnered with us, and we're up to 30 restaurants, so we might end up with more.
Yeah, you never know.
But I'm telling you, what a great treat to win.
Yeah.
You don't have any more holiday turkey or ham. You can eat out, no dishes. And I might.
And you can get decorations for your Christmas tree.
Oh yeah, you win the whole tree too. So.
There's also, don't forget, the Polar Express is this weekend, a big event for the Visitors Bureau.
Like the one I watched the movie? Well, I haven't watched it in years with my kids. That one?
Sort of. I got in trouble for this the other day, but I've never actually seen that movie.
You're kidding me.
So, truth be told, I don't really like Christmas movies.
Guess what I'm going to make you do this year? You have to watch the Polar Express.
I don't. I've seen a lot of Christmas movies. They're not really my favorite thing. So,
really?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Christmas movies. Everybody thinks that I'm weird. So.
Do you know one of my favorites is Scrooged with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
But anyway,
So speaking of festival trees, I have a trivia question.
All right.
Give away your stuff.
What are you giving away?
I got a $25 gift card to Joe's Pizza.
You didn't take that off my tree, did you?
I might have taken it off the tree. No, I'm just kidding.
Here we go.
We have a gift card to Joe's Pizza. If you can tell me the number of trees that are on display this year for Festival of Trees. And I know where you can find the answer, but I'm not going to tell you. But yes, if you can tell me the number of trees that are on display at the mall this year, you win a $25 gift card.
So here's my dilemma. I actually know this answer, and you know I spend a lot of time at Joe's Pizza. I can't win.
You can't win.
Ah, son of a
You're
gun.
not allowed to play the games to win back your own stuff. These are the rules.
That's a great point. What else you have?
I think that that's about it, but I believe you had a giveaway you wanted to do also.
I want to talk a little bit about Penn State football and an unbelievable game this past Saturday night.
I heard
You watched the whole game.
Steph's
not a football fan like I am, but an amazing comeback, an amazing season capped off by the Nittany Lions, Big Ten champs. And nationally, they didn't get invited to the national semifinals and possible national championship. However, I look for the silver lining.
They get to go to the Rose Bowl.
They get to go to the Rose Bowl.
I don't know much about football, but isn't that like a big fancy game?
It is, and I think the Nittany Lions represented the university and the state of Pennsylvania in an unbelievable way. And I think they should look at what a fantastic season, and this is a great thing for them. Mm-hmm. And the trip to Pasadena, more Pennsylvanians will go out there, and more Penn State fans across the country than anywhere, and they get a chance to play USC, which is a fantastic matchup and rivalry. So the last time Penn State was to the Rose Bowl, they played USC, and it didn't go so well.
Okay.
So my trivia question is, for a $25 gift card to Rivals, Penn State that day made the USC quarterback a lot of money because he had a really big day. And he threw all over the Nittany Lions. And he didn't really have the pro career that he was matched up to. But who was the USC quarterback that Penn State made a lot of money at the last Rose Bowl?
Okay, so call in, give Nikki your answer.
No high tech with mine.
Yeah, he doesn't like the online thing. So call in and give Nikki your answer. First person to call in wins the trivia card.
Who is the USC quarterback that might still be playing? Actually,
might still be playing.
But what else we have for today?
I think that's about it. I think we're going to get to our guest here in just a minute. We have Dave BOWER from GRASP joining us, and GRASP is the Grief Recovery After a Substance Passing support group. So he's going to join that. We're just going to take a quick break for the folks down at Fairfield, and we'll be right back after that.
We'll be right back.
Credit problems, bankruptcy, low credit score? At Fairfield Auto Group, we have car financing solutions. Introducing Fairfield Fresh Start Financing. We'll get you financed with 99% credit approval today. Get back on your feet with the vehicle you deserve. And don't forget about the Fairfield Advantage. Available on all pre-owned vehicles. Better quality, better selection, better price, better value. Visit FairfieldFreshStart.com for more info. As always, it's Fairfield for fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And we're back with Professor Dave BOWER. Dave, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jim.
And
I
you
appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. And you were at Lock Haven University.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started there in 1982 as a football coach and professor, okay? And I retired in June of 2015. So 33 years.
Wow.
Great career. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very
fantastic.
Fortunate. Thank you.
And you like football like I do, and enjoyed coaching. And,
yes, I did.
Put your time in. Amazing things happening up there now, huh?
Yes, they are. I think they're turning the corner, and it's really nice to see for the student athletes and the university and the alumni.
And Steph won't allow me to get going too much here on sports, but actually, tell us about GRASP. Give us the brief overview of.
Okay, GRASP is a national organization, a grief and bereavement organization that focuses specifically on families who have lost a loved one through addiction. Okay, and it stands for grief acceptance after a substance passing, and so grief recovery after a substance passing. And it was started by a family, a man and woman who lost their son to a heroin overdose. And they found that there were a lot of support groups out there, grief support groups, which were helpful, but there's just a little bit, seems to be somewhat of a stigma to families, associated with families who lose a loved one through addiction.
Sure. And unfortunately, we're having more and more of that today, and especially with the heroin crisis
Yes.
and the opioid crisis, and how I actually came in contact with you, and I'm glad I did, was through Carolyn Mealy. And she came on, and Steph did a fantastic job with the segment, and she was open and shared, and she reached out to me and recommended having you on, and you and I talked, and it sounded like a great idea.
And again, we really appreciate your giving us the time to spread this message, because I think it's something that the community needs, and that Carolyn's involved with our group, and she's has been very, very helpful in spreading the word too.
And obviously, she lost a son.
Yes.
And she reached out to you, and you are helping her, along with another gentleman. It couldn't be here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that also?
Bob Weaver. Bob and I, Renee Weaver, are from Montoursville, and they started a support group back in 2002 after they lost their daughter in Flight 800. And their support group specifically is for parents who've lost children. And it's not specific to addiction, but any loss
Right.
that parents suffer.
And that's so important right now. We've had a couple of really tough tragedies involving teenagers in the area in the past few weeks, and I think that the support groups like these are really important. And it's nice to know that we have the options of something open to everyone, but then something very specific. It's I think, when you get into overdose and substance abuse passings, it's important to have people that you can talk to, because that's a very specific kind of loss. It's different than any other. I mean, they're all specific unto themselves, but I think, to know that there's something specifically for families with abuse and substance passing is really important. It's really great that you're building this in the area.
And we're going to catch up with Mr. Weaver. You and I talked
Yes.
about that. We'll get him. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here. Was planning on it today. Steph makes a great point, and we'll get into this a little more here. But the guilt. You and I talk about that parents and people around victims of a drug overdose, whether or alcohol or whatever, always feel that guilt that they should have done something, as opposed to an untimely death or something out of their control. Share with us a little what you found out about that, and what your group.
Well, initially, when I was teaching at Lock Haven University, I taught a death and dying class and a substance abuse class. And I had a family come in who had lost their son through a heroin overdose. And they had a powerful message to the students, but one of the things I found to be consistent was that they just said there was really no book out there or no resource to allow them to understand why this, happened. And they had guilt, and what could they have done more for their son? And basically, they did everything they could. They were good parents. They tried and provided every resource out there available. But, it was out of their control, really. And so, as I thought more and more about it, and when I retired, I said, maybe we need something like that here in Williamsport. And so I went on the web and found this group out of California, GRASP. And then I contacted Shay Madden, Executive Director of West Branch Drug and Alcohol. And she was extremely supportive in getting this up and running. Extremely.
I'm sure.
She encouraged me, she promoted it, and so she was instrumental. But now we're getting started. We've had 2 meetings. We meet on the third Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. At St. John's United Methodist Church in Newberry. And it's open to anyone who has lost a loved one through addiction. So that's basically how it got started. And,
Excellent, and thank God for folks like you that obviously you've had a lot of experience of the field and where you taught at Lock Haven University, but that you volunteer and do your time to do this for folks. And we got to take a little commercial break. If you want to reach out to Dave, his phone number's on the screen. Reach out to him if any questions, any issues, anything you'd like to talk to about him, and we'll be right back.
Credit problems, bankruptcy, low credit score? At Fairfield Auto Group, we have car financing solutions. Introducing Fairfield Fresh Start Financing. We'll get you financed with 99% credit approval today. Get back on your feet with the vehicle you deserve. And don't forget about the Fairfield Advantage. Available on all pre-owned vehicles. Better quality, better selection, better price, better value. Visit FairfieldFreshStart.com for more info. As always, it's Fairfield for fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And we're back, and there's a lot of support groups out there for just about everything these days. What do you think is the most important aspect of GRASP and for parents and family members locally?
Well, I think that support groups are extremely helpful, but it's like many things, you have to find where you fit, okay? And sometimes, say, if you lose a loved one to an addiction, okay, you may be in a support group where the vast majority of those individuals have lost a loved one through a terminal illness, a car accident, okay, so maybe some of their concerns are not the concerns that you have, and so they keep searching, and then sometimes they give up. What I think GRASP brings, not that those other support groups aren't outstanding, they are, but I think GRASP will provide a resource that every individual in that group has lost a loved one because of addiction. And GRASP has an outstanding website that's very interactive. You don't even have to go to meetings. And if you go on the website, you can learn, you can interact with people who have lost loved ones. And the comments that are made on GRASP are very, very helpful to loved ones. They'll come back and they'll respond and say, I was down, it's the holiday season, I didn't know what to do, and I went on GRASP and I found someone who is feeling the same way I do. And therefore, it gave them a sense of hope. And that's the bottom line, I think, in our support group, and really any support group, is to allow people to find hope again in their life.
Yeah, and I think you brought up about the holidays. I think that, this is a rough time of year for families who have lost family members to anything. But so I think that it's really important that if you do need help and you do need support, that you reach out and know that it's there, whether it's through Bob Weaver's bereaved parent support group, or Dave's GRASP group. Can you just run us by one more time when your next meeting is? Okay,
our next meeting is scheduled for online. It would be December 15th, okay? But I would like, if somebody's interested in coming, please call me, because we're going to move it to December 21st. There's a special support ceremony, okay, at my church that we're going to move the GRASP meeting to that ceremony to recognize loved ones who have been lost.
And you said that's at St. John's
United Methodist Church in Newberry. But I think probably just call me, and speak to me, and I can give them all the information.
And reaching out to Dave here, he's a good one. If you have any other questions about groups, or maybe you don't fall into losing a loved one to an addiction, but have a counseling issue, I know you from talking to you, you'd be more than glad to help anybody with anything. And hope is the key word.
Exactly. And I'd like to preference the fact that I'm not a counselor. I'm not a certified counselor. But I'm a good listener, and I can refer you and get you help immediately through West Branch Drug and Alcohol. And the people over there, they're extremely supportive.
Yeah, the interconnection when it comes to substance abuse and particularly the heroin epidemic, the branches that are working together from GRASP to West Branch Drug and Alcohol, to the Bald Eagle Project, all of these organizations are working together, and each one is more than willing to lend a hand in reaching the other one and get you where you need to be. So don't be afraid to reach out to any of the local organizations, because even if they're not the ones that can help you directly, they can definitely point you in the right direction.
And I think one of the most important things is trust. And I hope folks out there watching us, you have to have that trust in a person, understand they're there to help you.
Yes.
They're there to hear you and to help you. And I know if you don't know, you're going to find somebody who does.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And we're there, and everything is confidential. And, it's just about, again, referencing back to hope.
Hope.
And once we gain hope, then we can move forward. And that's what our intention is.
Any thoughts you have before you leave us today? And
I'd just like to thank Webb Weekly, Jim and Steph, for your cooperation in this.
Oh, you're very
help us
welcome.
get the word out. And all those who are suffering, please find some safe space for you, especially during the holidays. There's people out there who are willing to help, and you can find the help. Don't give up. Please don't give up.
And I want to thank you for the work you're doing in Jesus' name on this holiday season. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Steph, anything?
Just again, like you said, there's a lot of places that you can reach out to. GRASP, like you said, the Bald Eagle Project, West Branch Drug and Alcohol. Any of the local counseling services. There's always someone out there. If you need help getting pointed in the right direction, any of those groups will be happy to help you. And please reach out to them if you need them.
Well put, Steph. We're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction. For 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
Hello, I'm Juliana for Web Kids, and this week I'm back at the SPCA with Vicky Stryker. Hello, Vicky. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Glad to hear it.
So what's going on around this time of year at the SPCA?
Well, as you can see from our backdrop, it is Christmas time, and we recently held Pet Pictures with Santa, and people came in with their pets, and we had Santa Claus, and they were taking pictures with their pets. And so that helps us raise money for the SPCA animals, because it takes a lot of money to take care of all of them. And we have a lot of adoptions this time of year as well, and it's not always the best time to adopt a pet because of all the hustle and bustle of the holidays. So if you are thinking of adopting a pet, after Christmas is the best time, and we really do discourage impulse buying of pets and also giving them as gifts, because you never know if the person who you're giving the pet to will like it or not.
So what are some things on your wish list?
On our wish list, we have things that we use every day: laundry, soap, bleach, dye-free dog food and cat food, and also lots of cat litter. So those are most of the things that we use most frequently.
Can you tell me a couple things about this dog here?
This is Egypt. Hi, Egypt. Come here. Can you sit? This is Egypt, and she has been at the shelter since July 3rd of 2015. And the things that are keeping her from being adopted are, one, her age. She's a senior citizen at 8 years of age. Yes, and she loves attention. And she's part pit bull, and people are afraid of the breed. And she is just a sweetheart of a dog. And because she likes to be the only pet as well, that's another thing that keeps her from getting adopted. But she is a sweetheart, and she would love to get a home this year.
Well, I've been collecting at the Webb Weekly office a donation jar, and I would like to give this to you to buy whatever you need for the pets here.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That'll help a lot of animals. Appreciate it.
So can we take a tour now?
I would love to take you on a tour.
So we're in the main lobby, and why are there so many rabbits over there?
Well, let's go over there and look at them. we have people that have brought in animals that they didn't want any longer, or that they were strays, and we're waiting to find somebody who would like to adopt them. And sometimes people get an animal and they get tired of cleaning up after them, and so they bring them here, and then they wait here until they're get adopted. Now, I do have one guinea pig. He's in under the house, and we have some beautiful long-haired lion-head rabbits. Isn't that pretty? All kinds of rabbits, but it has to be someone who really likes the animal and doesn't mind that it's not interactive like a cat or a dog, but they do make great pets, and they love to be brushed and petted. And we can go on and look at the dogs if you'd like.
Okay.
We have lots of dogs that are looking for homes.
So what's the number one problem that you get so many dogs here?
The number one reason we get a lot of our dogs is because the owners are moving. And so they bring their animals here. And sometimes the animals come in because they're strays. And sometimes it's because they can't afford to take care of them any longer. But we do have a lot of dogs available for adoption. And sometimes people want to give an animal as a pet for the holidays, which is not always a great idea, especially if it's a gift. But if you are thinking of adopting a pet and you are making plans to bring an animal into your home, we do have quite a variety. They do get excited when they see people, and they're basically saying, "Take me home, take me home."
Wow, the dogs were really excited for the holidays.
Weren't they? And you know what they were saying? Adopt me, adopt me.
Yeah.
And by the way, that donation that you gave us amounted to $100. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, to get away from all that noise, how about if we go someplace quiet?
That sounds good.
We can go and visit the cats.
Yay.
And there's Egypt again. And we'll bypass Egypt. I know, she wants to go home with me. And this is our cat holding area. So when a cat comes in, we bring it here, we examine it, we check it for worms, we take its picture, give it its shots, and then it gets spayed or neutered. And these are our cat condos. They kind of hide in the little bedrooms there. And then they are spayed and neutered, and then we take them out to our adoption floor. So as we get these cats adopted, then we'll call people from our waiting list, and they'll bring in cats that they have at home, and they're waiting for us to help them find new homes for them. So this is, go ahead.
So about how many cats can you fit in here?
Well, it depends if they're adults or kittens, but generally about 20 in this room. And then in our main cat room, it's 26 or more. And then they gradually get adopted. Every month we have about 30 to 40 adoptions of cats. And as they get adopted, we bring more in.
So like I asked about the dogs, what's the main reason that the cats are in here?
Mostly the cats often come in as strays, and then kittens come in as litters from offspring that they don't want anymore. So if the mother cat gets pregnant and has a litter, they can't keep 6 or 8 cats. So they bring them in here for adoption.
Well, thank you for the tour and for having us here at the SPCA.
You're very welcome, and thank you for coming. And in appreciation, I'd like to give you our SPCA calendar.
Thank you. I actually wanted one for my room.
Well, that's great. And you know what? Maybe next year, your pet could be featured in the calendar.
How do you do that?
First of all, there's an application inside the calendar for anybody who's interested, or you can get one here at the shelter or online and send us a picture and a $10 fee and raise money to have your pet featured as one of the months in the calendar.
Well, Merry Christmas, and thank you for all that you do here.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Peace. Back to you, Jimmy.
And another great segment by Juliana, and the SPCA, you know, they're near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I love, the SPCA does a great job. They take great care of the animals. They do an excellent job of making sure that they go to good and safe homes. So it's always nice to visit with them again.
And a great message and a great point.
Mm-hmm. And, I didn't go along this time strictly because I can't bring home any more animals. And I'm already a little worried about my Christmas tree because of the last kitten that I got from the SPCA. So I've had to stay away this time.
Well, my third son, Buddy, I would love to take home. And you know me, I love animals. I'd love to take an animal home. But I think Buddy's getting up there in life, and I just don't know how well that would go.
Yeah, that's another thing you always have to look out for. That's actually a great piece of advice of making sure before you bring another pet home that you know how it's going to interact with the ones that you have. So
Absolutely. And folks, if you are serious about adoption for the holiday season, please give a home to one of those dogs and cats. But understand that the responsibility does not end at Christmas morning. I mean, it's a great joy, but then reality sets in.
yeah,
right?
it's a big responsibility. You're talking, depending on the age of the animal, it could be a 15-year responsibility. So keep that in mind as you're picking out your Christmas presents this year.
And Buddy actually will turn 15 this year, God willing. So can you believe that?
I can't believe that at all.
Anyway, what else do you have?
I think that's about it for today.
And good show, Steph. A lot going on. Wonderful holiday, wonderful Christmas season events. They all can be found.
At webweeklylive.com.
And enjoy. And my message to you is, it's crazy out there. I don't know if any of you notice the driving that's going on. And we talk about it here in the office, and I always tell my people to be careful, but be careful out there and take a little bit extra time. Allow yourself a little bit extra time to get where you're going, and enjoy all the Christmas activities going on. And as always, God bless America.